I want to show you also, let's look behind the scenes, shall we? Because I think that's what people are wondering. Say what? Thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you guys so much. I have a super chat goal happening right now for an AMA at the end of the show, even though I do have to drive to Los Angeles after the show tonight. So wish me luck. But it would be a half-hour AMA at the end of the show if we can do that. So thank you guys so much. Here we go. Now, this is the Department of Defense releases a video of the B-2 bombers used to strike Iran. Now, I would argue that this is just stock footage of them taking off at night. I mean, it's great footage that, you know, if you at some point in the near future need to make your, dystopian, post-apocalyptic found footage horror film, this will be great stuff. Just remove the Forbes thing that they slapped on it. Hey, wee! I don't know why that looks a lot less frightening at this like regional airport in Toledo, Ohio. Flight number B2 now arriving at gate 6. Everybody else can, if you want to be dropped off in the middle of fucking Iran, you're gonna want to no carry-ons. We make sure they fit in the overhead compartment. All right, this is that footage, but I want to show you guys something. Is it this? Oh yeah, this is Candace Owens, who. I think there is a tendency by folks on our side, in the same way that with like the enemy of my enemy is my friend or strange bedfellows, where they come to this conclusion that, well, she all of a sudden is against war in Iran, I'm against war in Iran, we must be on the same side. Instead of, you and I are against war in Iran because we don't want an escalation of war in general, and we think there was a way to slow down their nuclear program with a deal before, and we think there could be again, as long as we can, kind of maintain the status quo until such time as a Democrat gets in, because there's no way they're going to trust us with another Republican deal. There's no way you would trust a deal from Trump in the first place, right? So I think there are other ways to solve the nuclear proliferation issue without killing a bunch of people or blowing a bunch of shit up. That's where I come from. She just doesn't want to do it because she thinks it's helping Jews. She's like, Israel wants this, therefore Jews want it, therefore. So Candace apparently says this. We'll see what she says. Is this playing at all? She's frozen. Hold on, I'll reopen this. I think you have to watch.
Imagine having the benefits of a keto
I'm not going to. I'm not going to do it. I will not imagine it. I'm going to keep it out of my head. Nope, I'm not going to put baking soda in. Nope, not in those places. That's gross. I'm not pouring in there. Nope, no matter what the ad says. Okay,
so 2 weeks to decide whether or not America was going to get involved in this war. President Bibi Netanyahu said, you know what, actually, we don't want to wait. And then so Trump took 7 stealth bombers over to Iran. And he did this so that we could have peace, allegedly. We're going to talk about that.
Okay, for the record, she is one of these people who is tacitly trying to forgive or protect Trump or defend herself against Trump's followers by saying he didn't want to do this. Netanyahu made him do it, because apparently Netanyahu has a copy of the Epstein files.
Also, Rabbi Dave Portnoy, the founder of Barstool Sports, who recently screamed at his employee because apparently jokes can cause the next Holocaust. Yeah, well, he is now claiming that I'm the lunatic because I don't think that American troops should go die for Israel. And so I want to make sure that I don't mince words here.
Nobody's worried that you're going to mince words. I do think it's, you do realize this could just be dumb on our own side. Like, this could just be Trump being full of shit.
In terms of what I actually think about our involvement with Israel. So welcome back to Candace.
Good old Candace. This is all about I would say that the weird part about this is that if they were ratcheting this up, if we were ratcheting up war or did something like this in another country, she would not have a problem with it. She wouldn't. It's the fact that she views it as we're on the side of Israel that she cares. It's the weirdest part of this whole thing.
That's because, of course,
with her.
Of course, they always accuse you of what they're doing. They released this report and, Iran has tons of bots on the internet. Yet all the bots are supporting Israel and telling us that we have to go to war. And this weekend was just...
They are?
Just insane. Honestly, I feel like we're watching a show. I really do believe that we're watching a show. I think...
Well, if you're watching shitter, you are. You're watching a manufactured, cultivated mindset scooped into your fucking brain pan on purpose. That's what an algorithm is. A reality show, it isn't. That's good. Yeah.
CIA thinks we're so stupid. Like I said before, 9/11, Generation 9/11, we've grown up and we know this script. We've seen this show and we know how it's going to end.
No, you haven't. No, you don't. You can assume it. You know, believe me, you can draw a lot of conclusions from stuff, but you can also be suckered into following along with stuff or going against your own best interest because somebody has told you, like, this is exactly like your last boyfriend who treated you like shit. Like, but he seems nice. Yeah, but they're always nice in the beginning, right? You can be as easily led by your paranoia as you can be led by your alleged newfound awareness.
And they just spent so much time gaslighting us. Like the moment.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't. Miss Generation 9/11. First of all, a bunch of us were like, fuck you, this is nonsense. The yellow cake stuff, the weapons of mass destruction. I don't know anybody personally. I take that back. I probably do, but I've never had a conversation with them about it where they actually bought the Rumsfeld Colin Powell bullshit about Iraq. I didn't. I don't think many people I'm sure there's some chat room. Let me know if there's some maggots in here who bought that hook, line, and sinker. But at the time, I and everybody around me were like, what the fuck are you talking about? This is obviously nonsense. This is obviously bullshit. So the idea that somehow, not only that lie was just like, it just managed to like drill its way into your fucking brain pan and no one could escape it like it was a goddamn tractor beam, but that after everybody was like, wait a second, this is all bullshit, that the rest of the media still, what do you think, the fucking news, the mainstream media and the legacy media still says that Saddam had weapons of mass destruction? Where the fuck did that come from? It's nonsense. Nobody does. Well, I won't say nobody because there's always somebody, and there's 8 billion people on the planet. There's somebody who will say shit about anything. But on Rumble, there are definitely a couple people, and on BitChute, which is the sort of like skeevy Craigslist version of Rumble, there are definitely people who are like, actually, he did have weapons of mass destruction, and thank God we went in, right? There's like 9 of those fuckers. But everybody else, including myself and everybody else who marched against the Iraq war at the beginning, not midway through. We didn't come to our fucking senses 6 years in. When it started, we're like, what the fuck did Iraq have to do with 9/11? What is this? BitChute, as in like chutes and ladders. So the idea that like this is this lie has been carried on forever and ever. No, it hasn't. And if you did believe it back then, we're not on the hook for it, dumbass. I'm not on the hook for how gullible and fucking stupid you were, and neither is my audience or any of the Democratic voters I talk to on any regular basis. Seriously. We're not gullible because you're full of shit. And just because you bought Donald Trump's horse shit, you don't get to go, well, every politician does this. This is AIPAC. This is Israel. We're wholly owned by Israel. Nobody has a choice in this. Why? Because Trump made the choice, and now you have, instead of defending it or supporting it or God forbid, criticizing the motherfucker, you have to lay it on, well, everybody does this. No, they fucking don't. You lazy piece of shit. I didn't. My viewers didn't. We knew it was bullshit. And just because you just woke up doesn't mean we all overslept. Fuck me. So lame.
That Matthew Crooks, the scrawny-looking white boy from Pennsylvania, got on that roof and attempted to murder Donald Trump, attempted to assassinate Donald Trump, okay? And the deep state came out with a narrative that, he was somehow linked with Iran?
They did? And first of all, the deep state, who the fuck are you talking about? If anybody defends that he was a lone wolf in this situation and there's nothing to see here, it was Donald fucking Trump. Who the fuck said? I happen to be the deep state, and I said no such thing, you dizzy fuck.
That kid, Matthew Crooks, linked with Iran. I said, okay, we're going to war with Iran. That's it. You got to have the false flag, and they let you know that is the new enemy.
Well, then maybe you should have voted for fucking Harris to guarantee, you weirdo. What the shit?
And we said, no, calm down. They said, calm down, you conspiracy theorists. That's not true. War with Iran. And then when Bibi Netanyahu decided to strike Iran, yeah, that was it. It was over. Our troops are going to be involved immediately, we said.
Nope. No, first of all, it wasn't just an immediate fait accompli. It's the fact that you supported Donald Trump and you will never go against him directly because of the blowback from the maggots. I think the most irritating part of all of this is how they try to make it this ubiquitous America does such and such, and yet every fucking time it's Nixon. Every fucking time it's Reagan. It's fucking Bush. It's Bush 1 and Bush 2. It's fucking Trump. And everybody else they're all the same. Anything the American president does is equal. There's no moral difference in invading Iraq and doing a limited incursion to rescue some fucking students in Guatemala or some shit like that. It's all the same. We send UN peacekeepers in to keep people from being slaughtered in Rwanda. It's the same as invading Iraq and Afghanistan. So there's no difference between the parties. That's how they have to equalize it. Biden didn't fucking bomb Iran, dummy. He didn't. So why, if they control everything, then why didn't he do it? Right? Why? And the idea that like, well, Harris would have. That's a great story to tell yourself if you want to cover your own ass.
And they said that is absolutely not false. We're not getting involved in that conflict. The favorite thing that they always say is Israel.
Who the fuck is they?
Israel can defend itself. Israel can defend itself. It just never does. That's the only thing. It never does because it actually can't, which begs the question that if you're a nation and you can't defend yourself, are you even a nation? If you have to rely on the might of another nation, on the tax.
I see. So that's your case, dissolve NATO?
Dollars of another nation. Why do you even qualify as being a nation? If might makes right. That's a question that we can ask another day. And
sorry, when does might make right? Oh, right, because you're a fucking Russian sock puppet, of course.
Anyways, the point is that on Friday, we were told definitively by Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt that Trump was going to take this 2-week pause. Everybody calm down. Don't be crazy. We're going to be rational about this. Take a listen.
I have a message directly from the president, and I quote,
Gee, does it ever occur to you that she might be specifically full of shit on behalf of another person who's specifically full of shit?
Based on the fact that there's a substantial chance of negotiations that may or may not take place with Iran in the near future.
That's that whole may or may not thing, I think, that's probably going to throw a monkey wrench into this next segment, I guess.
I will make my decision whether or not to go within the next 2 weeks.
I see. So not at the end of 2 weeks, like asshole just said, but within the next 2 weeks, which it turns out to be 24 hours or less than 24 hours later, because she's full of shit, Trump's full of shit, and Candace is full of shit.
That's a quote directly from the president for all of you today.
All right, now let's see Candace regurgitate what we all just heard, which was typical Trump punting, waffling, weak-kneed bullshit language into, he said 2 weeks.
So that's what we were told. And by the way, just for those of you that are in the chat.
Yes, that he would do it within 2 weeks. And technically, he could have done it the very next second because it would have been within 2 weeks. Dipshit. Yes, she's full of shit. You're full of shit. Trump's full of shit.
Saying that you can't hear, just hit refresh button on the YouTube and the audio should come in clearly for you. Anyways.
See, I'm not the only one who has those problems.
That's what we were told on Friday. And then literally 1 day later, we bombed Iran. I'm not kidding. It was 1 day later. Oh, everybody settled down. We're going to think. And this is directly from the president. And then we got this directly from the president on Truth Social.
Right, which was within the 2 week period. It was just closer to the front of the 2 week period than the end of the 2 week period. And instead of going, holy shit, I'm a gullible asshole. I bought this hook, line, and sinker. I thought when she said within 2 weeks, it meant at the end of 2 weeks. And I must have a problem fucking reading, or I might have shit in my ears. Instead of actually coming to that conclusion, you're like, I feel betrayed.
He wrote, "We have completed our very successful attack on the 3 nuclear sites in Iran,
Yeah, we saw this.
including Fordo, Natanz, and Esh are safely on their way home. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Now is the time for peace." That's what I mean, obviously, that is usually, if I'm trying to achieve peace, dropping bombs on people is usually the way to go. It's like, beat them to a pulp and then call for peace, because that makes so much sense. That's ridiculous, obviously. And immediately.
Yeah, but this is just how all presidents do it. Harris would have done this. Biden, I mean, he didn't, but he would have. Man, eventually Biden would have said, Biden Plaza Gaza, and referred to the Palestinians as a fucking cancer, and said, we got to bomb Iran. Because what's the difference between him and John McCain ultimately? It was all just for show, right, Candace? It couldn't possibly be that you're a gullible dipshit and you played a specific point in making this a positive outcome for Donald Trump, making sure that he got in a position of power so that he could do this exact thing. And so it's not that. It can't be that. It's that, they're all like this. It's the system. It's the deep state.
Immediately, MAGA began to revolt.
These motherfuckers, I got to tell you, this is the most aggravating, lazy bullshit.
Because what were all of these promises? No new wars, we said, right? No new wars was one of the early campaign promises. Going back.
Nope. No. He said no forever wars. No more forever wars. He didn't end any of the ones we were in, which would be, I think, what people would assume you would do right away. It's like, I don't know why you would even assume another war would come up. It's kind of a weird fucking thing that you would even start one of those things. But what you could do is wind down the ones we're in, namely Afghanistan. And he didn't do it. Why is that? Why would you punt something like that? What was different in 2017, in January of 2017, in Afghanistan from 2021? What was the difference? What was the difference? Nothing. So why not get out?
Dating back to...
Kind of weird that Hal's defending Trump. I'm not defending Trump. Don't ever think that for a second. What I'm saying is she voted for this. And instead of going, I voted for Trump and therefore I'm responsible for how this went and I should have known better and I got suckered by Trump into this shit. Instead of doing that, she's not copping to that at all. She's saying this is an America thing. This would have happened anyways. And it wouldn't have. It would not have.
2015, when people jumped onto the Trump train, it was because there was this vision of the forgotten man. We're so tired of being involved in these never-ending wars, being told that we're spreading democracy, and then only to come back and find that our country is in a steep decline.
By the way, what she means by our country's in a steep decline is that women refuse to be trad wives and gays can get married. That's what she means when she says a steep decline. You think she gives a rat's ass about the budget? The fuck out of here.
So we're immediately going, we've got whip.
Yeah, and something Jews.
Lash, because yesterday was Friday, and you said you're going to take a little pause and think, and then the Israeli media starts reporting that Bibi Netanyahu got on the phone and was like, no, there's a president, and then there's the ultra president, Bibi Netanyahu.
Right, because Trump can't possibly be responsible for this. He was obviously hypnotized by the charm and sophistication of Bibi Netanyahu.
We want you to hit him now, and so Trump did it. He hit him now. Again, that's according to reports in Israel. That's why he committed this whiplash, okay? Trump then gives a speech.
Also, hold on. Whoa. No. Never mind what the reporting is. Again, citation needed. But let's be abundantly clear. You can tell me anything you want to fucking tell me, and I'm not going to automatically do it just because I heard the words uttered in my fucking ear. What kind of Ray Epps bullshit is this? Is this just... I thought this was just a disease that Jan 6 maggots had. That somebody could come up while they're, staring at a police officer on the other side of the barricade on January 6th, and some dude walks up and goes, get him. And you're like, but I can't do anything. I have to beat a cop. But law and order, I'm shorting out. I got to start killing. But are you... You guys are that dough-headed? That's all it fucking takes?
About these strikes. And there was something that struck me about the speech. I want to see if you catch it. Take a listen to Trump addressing the nation.
A short time ago, the U.S. military carried
What? How twitchy he is?
out massive precision strikes on the three key
Isfahan.
nuclear facilities in the Iranian.
These foreign words. It's not foreign wars I don't want to get involved in. It's foreign words. They make my body hurt.
Regime, Fordo, Natanz.
Natanz. I didn't know you know that to properly pronounce Natanz, you have to curtsy. Natanz.
And Esfahan. Everybody heard those names for years as they
No, they did not. They haven't even heard them for months, dumbass.
built this horribly destructive.
Again, the idea that this was like, well, hey, I warned you. And by the way, this is also making it everyone's like responsibility. Like, Obama should have bombed these places before. Now I got to do it. He left me a mess. You guys know the names of these cities. No, you fucking don't.
Enterprise. Our objective was the destruction of Iran's
At Natanz.
nuclear enrichment capacity.
Oh, yeah, the nuclear. Yeah.
Years
By the way, watch your eyes when he says nuclear enrichment.
as they built this horribly destructive enterprise. Our objective was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity and a stop to the
Sorry, my retainer came loose.
nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. Tonight, I can report to the world.
Look, Candace does not approve. Nuclear enrichment didn't bother her, but calling Iran the #1 state sponsor of terrorism, when she thinks that the #1 state sponsor of tourism is terrible. It's just wrong.
That the strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated. Iran, the bully of the Middle East, must now make peace. If they do not,
Which reminds me of, hold on. It's gonna make me like end up doing it myself. And by the way, thank you guys for the super chats. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, here we go. This is basically, I got a better audio of Trump saying this.
No! Wait! Please? Please? Wait! Please make peace!
Right. That was Trump from the Dark Crystal. Okay. Make peace, which is funny because I don't know if you guys, you ever big Dark Crystal fans out there. I hope so. Chat room. That when he says make peace, he sounds like Pee Wee Herman. It was always funny to me when I was a kid. Like, please make peace. I know you are, but what am I? Like it was very odd that his voice when it went that high. So,
future attacks would be far greater and a lot easier. For 40 years, Iran has been saying death to America, death to Israel.
Please? Wait!
They have been killing our people,
Sorry.
blowing off their arms, blowing off their legs with roadside bombs. That was their specialty. We lost over 1,000 people, and hundreds of thousands throughout the Middle East and around the world have died as a direct result of their hate. In particular, so many were killed by their general, Qasem Soleimani. I decided a long time ago that I would not let this happen.
Also,
it will not
we've
continue.
seen this one. Hold on.
I want to thank and congratulate Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu.
Be quiet. One second.
Team
Quit.
like perhaps
Hold on.
no team
Hold on.
has ever worked before.
Hold on. I downloaded that sound file and it immediately jumped into my shit. Hold on. I'm going to go into here. And then we'll put this in this business. One over here. Thank you. So, I have to edit this one. Why is this? Hold on.
And we've gone a long
Oh, it's the wrong format. I'll do it later. Okay. Anyways, discard edits. Thank you. Here we go.
Long way to erasing this horrible threat to Israel. I want to thank the Israeli military for the wonderful job they've done.
Wonderful.
And most importantly, I want to congratulate.
Also,
That's who he. After giving this speech justifying the strikes, he then goes on and he says that he would like to thank and congratulate Bibi Netanyahu. That's who he thanked and congratulated first. What he was thanking him for, what he was congratulating him for. I'm still a little iffy on the details. If you've got something, please drop it into the chat, like why we're...
Okay, she's just farming, responses. By the way, if you think that's wrong, write something in the comments below this video. No, obviously, because they cleared the air and they made the airspace open for the attacks themselves, and so they did the primary attack. They literally own the skies over Israel, over Iran, and Israel clearly has air dominance and stuff. So technically speaking, they did the primary attacking, which is why Trump came in and just did one last sweep of the leg and wants credit for the whole fight. But that's exactly why he's thanking him. I mean, you don't have to be for it to know that's what he's fucking saying. And again, this has to do with this myth that she's trying to put forward, that somehow Trump is being hypnotized by Netanyahu and that he wouldn't do this under normal circumstances. Yes, he fucking would. He's 100% responsible for his decisions. He's a grown fucking man, and he can be swayed by Netanyahu or not swayed by Netanyahu, just like any other human being on the fucking planet. And if you can somehow avoid the tractor beam, why can't he? I'll tell you why he can't. Because then you'd have to admit that he was lying to you this whole time, and that it isn't even about how good the con is, but how gullible the fucking mark is.
We're congratulating Bibi Netanyahu for getting us involved in another regional conflict. Who knows? Maybe
he didn't. He didn't. He could want us to do it. He could say, you guys need to join this with us. If you don't, there's going to be trouble, whatever. But you could still go, I hear you, but I disagree. Like, he's a grown fucking man. He didn't get us involved in this. Trump did. Fucking say it. You know why you know why she doesn't have a problem blaming Netanyahu but letting Trump off the hook? She didn't vote for Netanyahu. She voted for Trump. That's what all these assholes are talking about. So again, we're hearing this conversation across so many fronts where they're like, Israel really controls these things. Israel is the one that drove us to these things. And why is it necessary for them to believe that AIPAC or Israel have so much control? Because they can't admit that Trump responded more directly and in more support of these kind of actions than previous presidents, namely Democrats. No matter what you say, there is a huge difference between giving stuff for the Iron Dome to Israel or and limiting, in the case of Gaza, what kind of bombs they can get from the United States for use there. And Donald Trump basically going, do whatever you want. Trump Plaza Gaza. And if you need me to go into Iran for you and bunker buster them, I'm glad to do it. There's a difference. And the only people who don't want you to think there's a difference are people who voted for Trump and are keeping it quiet, or people like her who want you to believe that it wasn't that she's a gullible piece of shit. It's that anybody would fall for this. I mean, it's not Trump's fault. Yeah, it is. If you voted for Trump, it's your fucking fault. And if you're walking it back, then it's not enough that you just go, I'm not going to vote for him again. This is sick. And you're like, no, you owe fucking Biden an apology. How do you like that? You owe Harris a fucking apology. You owe all the Democrats that you demonized by calling Democrats. Fuck off. Alyosha, but how was not everyone blaming Biden? A bunch of them were. I wasn't. And a bunch of us were trying to get Harris elected and gave a shit. 75 million people showed up and voted for Harris. They did all they could do in that circumstance, and they tried to do the best they could for the country. Even if they felt like they were holding their nose, they made the decent decision. But anybody who voted for Trump were like, I was going to vote for Jill Stein, threw it out, guaranteed that there would be a path for Donald Trump to get elected. You guys are on, this is on you, and you don't get to just go, I'm not going to do that again. That's not enough. If you're in this space, it's one thing for the average voter, but if you're somebody like Candace Owens, you got to fucking apologize. You were not just wrong.